All right, everybody, this is a guided walkthrough for Bandit level 12 from overthewire.org, and this is a CTF lab game where you can learn Linux skills. Let us begin. So we use the SSH command to log into Bandit level 12. We need to supply the password. We can just paste that in. And then after we get access to the level, we're going to see that there's a data.txt file in here. So what is going on in this level? Let's go ahead and take a look at the level description. So this is level 12 to level 13. And it says the password for the next level is stored in the file data.txt, which is a hex dump of a file that has been repeatedly compressed. For this level, it may be useful to create a directory under the temp directory in which you can work. Use the makedir command with a hard-to-guess directory file name, or better, use the command maketemp-d, then copy the data file using cp and rename it using the mv command. Read the man pages. Okay, so we're going to be talking about how exactly to do this, and we're going to be talking about these hex dump files that the level references. So first of all, let's go over to the console here, and in the console we've got data.txt. If we read data.txt, we're going to see that we're going to see a lot of information like this. So this is what is called a hex dump file. So the way you can recognize what a hex dump file looks like is that you've got a bunch of hexadecimal characters over here, as well as an address. So we've got 0, 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, and we've got a bunch of hexadecimal characters. If the hexadecimal characters correspond to ASCII characters, you'll actually see them in this column over here. But what are these hex dump files? Let's talk about this for a little bit. So this is Bandit level 12, and in this level we're talking about the xxd command. So in Linux, the xxd program is used to both create hex dump files as well as convert those hex dump files back into their original formats. So hex dump files, let's see, hex dump files are basically files that that are turned into their hexadecimal equivalents, and it's kind of a transformation of the file contents into hexadecimal format. And the reason why you do this is for analysis purposes. So to analyze what is usually like a binary program, like an executable program or a picture file or something else with a bunch of binary data. And this is a way to do it. First, turn it into a human readable format. And hex dump files are also very useful for transmitting binary files across networks, because it's never a good idea to transfer raw binary files across networks because they've got a bunch of weird binary bytes in them, which could interfere with whatever program is being used to transmit them around. Anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to use the xxd program to turn the hex dump back into its original format. But before we do that, we have to create an environment where we can work. So back over here, we're going to see that we can't actually write anything to this directory here. We can't write to this directory, we can only read from it, and that means we need to create a temporary directory where we can work. So we can do that with the following command. So makedir, and then we're going to make this one in the temporary directory. We're going to make a directory in the temporary directory. And what are we going to name this? We're going to name this quadruple dot, and then we're going to call it Bandit 12. Let's just call it quadruple dot Bandit 12, and then your username. So maybe in my case it would be the Shy Hat, just like this. So this is going to create a directory inside the temp directory here, and we're going to have to move this data directory into that directory in order to work with it, because we have write permissions inside the temp directory but not here. So to move that data.txt file over there, this is the command we're going to do. So we're just going to do copy data.txt, and we're going to move it into /temp/ Bandit 12 the shy hat. Whoops. And we're going to call it data.txt again. So if you're wondering what command this is, I hope I can copy this. Okay, I can copy this. So this is what the command looks like. So the next thing we need to do is we need to move into that directory. So we're going to move into temp Bandit 12 the shy hat. And once we're here, we see that we've got the data.txt file. So in order to do a reversal on the hex dump operation, we're going to do this command, xxd and then -r. So the -r means reverse. We're going to redirect the output of that command into a file called simply data. We're just going to call it data. So let's run that command. When we run the command, after it's done, it's taken a while. I wonder I wonder what's taking so long. Let's go ahead and give the ls command. For some reason the server is acting kind of slow. So the data, oh, you know what? Yeah, that's a good question, because I forgot to put the name of the file. The reason why it doesn't work was because I didn't specify the name of the file. So okay, so let's do this again, and let's do this properly. So xxd reverse on data.txt, and then we're going to redirect it into a file called data, like this. So I forgot this part last time, and then that was a really big problem. Okay, so we run the command, and that's going to get us this data file over here. So the data file, we can run the file command on the data file, and we're going to find out what is inside of the data file. So it says here that the data is gzip compressed data and was called data2.bin. So we're talking about compressed files in this level of Bandit. Let's talk about what that means. So in Bandit level 12, we're also talking about compressed files. So in computing, compression is often used to reduce the size of files, either to reduce the amount of storage space for those files or to transmit them across networks. So there's one reason why you're often going to download a file and the file will be compressed. One reason is because they don't want the file to be so big, because storage space can be an issue, especially in the olden days when storage space was very hard to come by. And also, zip files they're able to be moved across networks more easily than raw binary files, which are not as accommodating sometimes. But for many different reasons, we use compression. So depending on the method of compression, different programs need to be used to decompress the files and get access to the original contents. So if we try to use the proper programs, but the file doesn't have the correct file extension, then we might have some problems. In addition, many programs will not decompress a file unless it has a specific file extension. So we're going to be talking about this, and oh boy, is it going to be annoying. Okay, let's to solve this level, this is what we have to do. So it says here that this was a gzip compressed data file, and for gzip we need to rename the file with the extension gz. So we would rename the file with the mv command. Okay, so we're going to use the mv command, mv data, into mvdata.gz. So we have to give the file the gz file extension. After that, we can use the gunzip program to decompress the file. So gunzip data.gz, after that, we're going to see another data file over here. But what is in this file? So file data. Now it says it's a Bzip2 compressed data file. So to do Bzip2 decompression, we need to rename this file into, let's see, we're going to have to rename the data file into data.bz2, like this. So data.bz2. After we do that, we can give this command. So bzip d for decompress, and then data.bz2. Let's see, bzip. Oh, it's okay. It's supposed to be bzip2. There you go. Okay, so after we do that, we're going to see another data file in here. It's just a matryoshka doll of different. It's a nesting doll of different data files. So we run file on this data file as well. Now it says it is a gzip compressed data, which means we need to give it the gzip extension again. So mv data.gz, and then we run gunzip rather, on data.gz. And we see now that there is another data file in here. File data. Now it is a tar archive. So tar archives, we need to rename them into tar .tar files. So mv data.tar, and then we need to run tar uf for uncompress and f for file name, I think. And then it's going to be data.tar. Okay, after we do that, we now see there's a data.tar file in here. There's another data.tar file in here. Hold on, did I do that correctly? Let me take a look at my little cheat sheet. So this is Bandit 12. Okay, geez. XF. Oh, it's XF. It's not. Okay. So I did that that command incorrectly. So the command is supposed to be tar xf. Okay, tar xf data.tar. And now we've got a data5.bin file in here. So we run file on data5.bin. And we see this is another tar file. So we need to rename this file as well. mv data5.bin to data5.tar. After we do that, we can run the tar command again, and this time it'll be on data5.tar. Okay, and now we've got a data6.bin in here. Okay, let me clear the screen. Let's do file on data6.bin. So it says it's Bzip2 compressed data, and that means we're going to have to rename this file to data6.bz2. Whoops. Okay, so we're going to have to rename data6.bin to data6.bz2. And after we do that, we can do bzip2-d for decompress on data6.bz2. And then after that, we've got data6. So we do file on data6. This is another tar, another tar archive. So let's go ahead and rename it. So data6.tar. Whoops. Data6. Oh man, I'm going too fast. So data6 is renamed to data6.tar. And then after we do that, we decompress it with the tar command. Yeah, okay, so tar xf data6.tar. And now we've got data8.bin. We need to use the file command to figure out what is in here. So this is gzip compressed data. So let's go ahead and rename this file. So data8.bin becomes data8.gz. And then we gunzip data8.gz. And now we've got data8 over here. So what is in data8? Okay, so it says this is ASCII text, which means this is the end. This is the end of the nesting dolls. So let's go ahead and use cat on data8, and we get the password for the next level. So you're going to see this kind of challenge a lot inside of you're going to see this kind of challenge a lot inside of CTF challenges that deal with Linux, and they're a big pain in the butt every time. All right, so everybody, let's before we finish the level, let's talk about what we need to do on this level. So the username was Bandit12, the password was this. The method of solve was reverse the hex dump file with the XSD program, and then we moved our file into here. And then we did a lot of different decompression stuff, and then we finally got access to the password file. All right, so everybody, that was a guided walkthrough for the Bandit 12 level from overthewire.org, the Bandit CTF game. If you enjoyed this guided walkthrough, please click on the like and subscribe buttons on the video and leave a comment underneath the video. But until next time, HackerFrogs out.
Hey there, HackerFrogs! Are you enjoying this workshop? Learning new concepts and skills? If so, there's a way you can support the channel, and it's totally free. Just click on the subscribe button below the video. Also, click on the like button. And if you have questions or comments on this workshop, please leave them below the video. Thanks for listening. And now, back to our scheduled programming.